Welcome to the 5G podcast.
We're glad you're here.
We hope you enjoy our conversation about God, guns, games, goals, and gastronomy.
Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode.
It's been 2 weeks since we recorded.
Yes.
A lot has happened. We got a full list of
Full agenda.
topics to talk about.
I better actually move these because I'm just gonna end up playing with the pillows the whole time.
Yeah, I probably will as well, but I like being cocooned.
It's like I don't know. Yeah,
I probably look like a dork.
I'll do it subconsciously.
In fact, I
and
do.
then I'm just like, it's pillows. And, wait, what were we talking about?
We're in a new set.
Welcome.
We've made so much money that we were able to buy a new studio.
This is the new 5G studio.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, yes.
That's only what it is.
Mhm.
We have a studio dog on the other couch.
Giving us the side eye.
Yeah, he is. He's saying, "You guys are talking too much. Shut up! I'm trying to sleep.
Shut up. It's nap
I
time.
just woke up from bed. I'm trying to go to bed."
Yeah.
See,
What is that stretch? That's not here. Dog cam. Yeah, there's a nose. All right, perfect.
Go lay down. Go lay down.
You're more distracting than the pillows.
Go lay down. Go to bed. Go on. Go. Good boy.
You heard us talking about them, so that's why.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway,
Excellent. That's the most like passive aggressive groan I've ever heard from a dog.
the mics probably didn't pick that up. That was hilarious.
That was very funny.
Anyway.
On to our first topic of the day. Serious professional Steven, tell me about
Yes.
the weeb tax.
The weeb tax?
Yes.
I don't even know if it's a tax. I think it's
Just
just
the weeb effect.
Weebonomics. Weebonomics.
Yeah.
So we've previously talked about this Vocaloid.
Yes,
I remember. I had to look it up yesterday.
Oh, okay. A little refresher.
I looked it up yesterday because I was trying to remember. I was like, vocalized, vocal what? I knew it was vocal something, right? Vocaloid, which is this just, I don't understand it, phenomena of AI, or not even AI, just software created. Anyway, it's weird.
Music and persona.
We talked about the previous secret layer that Magic the Gathering did with this
Hatsune
Miku.
Yes.
Which is the most popular of the Vocaloids.
Yeah. She's got the long blue hair.
Yeah,
she's popular.
Sold out in, the first secret layer was a huge success.
Yeah.
So Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast, decided, let's do it again.
Do it again.
And I saw an article this week that says, so I'll tell you, the first special edition for Hatsune Miku took 5.5 hours to run out of stock online.
Okay.
5.5 hours.
Like the good secret layers do that generally.
Yeah. This new one, sold out in under 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's the second one, and it sold out in less time than I just.
Because either everyone who missed the first one wanted to make sure they got this one, or the collectors were like, I need both.
Yep. And they, in my opinion, the artwork is meh.
The artwork on the first one was kind of meh.
I mean, like, let's see if I can zoom in and
even as like, I'm not a Hatsune Miku fan or anything, but the artwork on the first one was kind of, I don't know. It didn't even really look like her, honestly.
Like, this is the Soul Ring. Like,
that's interesting.
This is the thespian stage.
Oh, okay.
Like,
that's kind of cool.
It's cool-ish.
That's a concert.
But it's not like, I don't know. It's not like the Warhammer ones or the Fallout ones, right? Like the Fallout ones were dope.
Secret layers are almost a shameless cash grab anyway.
Like that's like the Song of Creation.
That's not even a good at reprint. But
I mean, it's just
that one at least looks more anime.
Yeah, and it's full border or borderless and full art, whatever.
Yeah, but weebs. So you see anime girl, must buy. That's Here, Wizards of the Coast, take my money.
Yeah, I thought it was crazy that in under 2 hours it sold out.
Yeah.
And not even like,
and some secret layers actually don't sell out at all.
Yeah.
Like the bad ones, they just have to stop selling them because a limited time window, but nobody's buying all of them. So they just quietly turn off.
I think that happened for the Princess Bride one.
Yeah,
because I saw advertisements for the Princess Bride one.
Oh, to like resell.
Well, no, just like it was during their window of time, right?
Gotcha.
And I didn't see a single advertisement.
They don't have time to advertise.
No, it goes on. They say, "Hey, this is going to be sold on this date." Mm-hmm. Oh, it's up. Oh, it's sold out. Like, I didn't see that with the Princess Bride one. It was.
I can't think of some of the other bad ones off the top of my head.
But I saw advertisements for multiple weeks of the Princess Bride one. Is what I'm saying, and you could just like click on on Instagram. You could click order. Yeah, for multiple weeks, and so I assume that it didn't.
They found the right crossover of Magic the Gathering nerds and anime nerds, and that's sold better. So obviously,
it's not even anime nerds though.
You're right. It's like
I don't know. Like, it just is weird.
It's a different kind of weeb. You're deep in Japanese culture.
Yeah,
it's not just anime.
I wonder if I have a cousin who is into that stuff. I wonder if she is a fan of Hatsune Miku.
She's gonna go, hey, so what's your take on Vocaloids? And she'll be like, well, actually, my favorite one is.
Yeah, interesting. Anyway, I thought it was funny that they were like, the first one was so successful and sold out in 5 hours. They're like, we'll do another one. Might as well, right?
And that was so quick. We didn't even have time to talk about them announcing the second one. And
I don't even know when they announced it.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's how quick.
Yeah,
the whole thing was.
Anyway, yeah,
that was pretty wild.
Should we talk about some criminals now?
Yeah. We'll intersperse the nerd stuff with the current events. I like it.
Yeah. I'm going to flip the order of the list there.
Sure.
Because the top one is, in my opinion, it's probably more interesting for the vast majority of people, but less interesting for me.
Okay, yeah.
Julian Assange, the founder of WikiLeaks, who has been hiding out in the Argentine embassy in
Australia. No,
he's from England. Australia. He's Australian. He was hiding from the United States and Australia because Australia is just a proxy state of the United States.
It's just going to extradite him anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. And so was England. So he couldn't step out of the embassy in Argentina.
And Argentina is like, yeah, screw England.
Screw England and the U.S. and everyone. Yeah. And so he was hiding in the Argentine embassy in England.
That's hilarious.
In London for years, I think. Like a long time. Because it's kind of like a Edward Snowden situation kind of thing.
Yeah.
He released a bunch of classified documents that he had received from a reporter, or not from a reporter, from a military contact that he had, and posted it all online on WikiLeaks, right? Yep. And and then they weren't. The government wasn't a fan of that.
No. And so that was during the Iraq and Afghan wars. So there was some negative connotations to what some soldiers were doing there. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of the soldiers that he outed, though, were like put on trial and convicted and court-martialed and stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
Because war crimes.
Yeah.
Was he the one that broke the fact that Blackwater was putting pork fat on their bullets?
I don't think so.
Which, if you ask me, is just a hilarious thing.
It's kind of funny, but...
That's the biggest troll of my life.
It's like... disrespectful if you know what you're doing, but
it's super disrespectful and like kind of like horrible. But like also, if you're in war with these guys and you're just like, I'm gonna troll the crap out of them.
It's
like you think you're gonna blow up or die and go to your heaven or whatever. Guess what? You can't anymore because you're a sinner because you ate pork.
There's pork
inside of you. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's.
It's funny.
It is.
Horrible thing. I don't think it's correct to do, but you got to give him props for like the creativity.
The mind games. But, so he's free, Julian Assange.
Free. He's going back to Australia. The U.S. is charged. They can. Well, he pleaded guilty to one count of the crime, and they said, you know what, that's good enough. he had served a couple of years in prison somewhere.
Yeah.
And so they're counting his time served as good enough.
It's good, yeah.
And so basically it was like, we're tired of wasting resources on you. Just go away.
Yeah, go away.
And he's like, sounds good.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's that. Any
I mean, my opinion on it, I mean, the whole WikiLeaks thing, in general, the Iraq-Afghan war was like, we were young.
Yeah.
So like, I wasn't there to hear all the blowback from that, but like, yeah, I understand investigative journalism, and that's awesome. And to be frank, we probably don't have enough of that these days.
Yeah, I
agree. In the past 5-10 years, we probably need more investigative journalism. But there is some element of like, I don't need to know everything my military is doing overseas, because some of that is harmful to current military operations.
That's fair.
So like, I like, again, I was super young when it happened, but I don't know if I totally agree with him releasing the stuff he did.
So what's your take on like Edward Snowden then?
Edward Snowden,
they're different because one's like with military stuff, one's just government spying on its citizens.
I think, I don't know, I guess I haven't thought deeply about Edward Snowden as well in comparison, but I guess because that one's more just between me and the government. I'm probably more okay with that one.
See, for me, I think personally, I think Edward Snowden is a hero for ousting the government or showing that they're doing something that they said they weren't.
Yeah.
With Julian Assange, I think it's good that he's going free now.
Sure, yeah, I'm okay with that. I mean,
but I do think that I kind of agree with you. I also think that it's kind of like he was prosecuted in a dumb way because like all these things are coming out, right, about military operations in the Middle East, and it's like, yeah, but also it's war.
Right.
Like, why are we getting mad about them torturing people when like President Obama has a button on his desk that says drone strike a school?
Right, yeah. You're not allowed to waterboard people anymore because that's bad. It's war.
Yeah. It's like you're a terrorist who's planning on blowing up a Jewish village.
Yeah.
Like,
we're trying to get information out of you to stop the next village from blowing up. Yeah.
Like, let's stop 9/11. Well,
not to get into conspiracies, but
it was the government.
A slight conspiracy, but honestly, from a total, normal guy, American citizen on the outside looking in, and we don't have to dive deep into this, but I just find it interesting that stuff like WikiLeaks, investigative journalism, was only big when Bush was in office. And you see that kind of fell off a little bit when like Obama came in. Like, why wasn't WikiLeaks doing more stuff there?
Yeah, it's true.
I'm just saying.
It's true.
And then in our current day and age, I don't think we have any investigative journalism, but same thing with Biden. Like, okay, yeah, we know his Afghanistan withdrawal was terrible, but like, what else has been going on with the military? We don't really know.
No.
So.
No.
It's, I just want some consistency either way, I guess. If you're going to tell me anything about the military, the government, I want to know everything.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Edward Snowden, he told us a lot, and I think the rest of it we can basically infer at this point.
Oh, for sure.
Like, the government's listening right now. I mean,
oh yeah.
And if not, I mean, big tech's listening too. So like,
and China,
yeah, might as well.
That was the funniest thing for me when everyone was like talking about the TikTok stuff. It's like China's listening to you. It's like, yeah, so is Facebook and Amazon and Google and our government and probably 3 other governments.
I just want China to pay for it. Come on.
Like, at least China's giving me something for their spying. I'm getting entertained from their spying. Like,
if you want my information, I will sell it to you. But you can't take it freely. Come on.
I mean,
I'm worth something.
Heck, if the United States government came out with an app as good as TikTok is, and they were like, yeah, we're blatantly spying on you with this, but you get the app. And it's like, you already were.
Wasn't that kind of the bill anyway of just like, TikTok was fine, but they just wanted them routed through an American company or something so that they could pay taxes or something?
Well, they're still an American company.
They're still an American company.
But their parent company is a Chinese company.
Yeah.
And
it's like the idea of it, they're totally fine. They're like, yeah, take all the information from American people you want, but like,
well, what they're worried about apparently was that the algorithm was going to destabilize the American society, and it's like,
see, I heard that
we're already pretty good at doing that ourselves. I don't know what we don't need, and also, I don't know, like, I honestly don't think that China is like purposely doing anything with their algorithm on TikTok.
Yeah,
I honestly think it's like what people in America are. I think it's the algorithm working, and people are just realizing like Americans are mostly degenerates.
Yeah,
and
all of the content creators are just pushing out the same garbage, and
it's just full of OnlyFans girls.
It's like quantity is. Just...
For me, it's interesting because I see videos that I like for 95% of the videos, and every once in a while there's a video of a half-naked girl dancing or whatever, and I'm like, dislike,
has to push it to everybody, because of the sheer quantity.
Yeah, and so many people have liked it that they're like, well, everyone likes this, and then I dislike it and block the creator or whatever.
Move on with your life.
But like, I see engineering videos, I see gun videos, I see military videos, I see that's all I really see on my TikTok.
And I've heard that they're trying to claim, oh well, on China's version of TikTok, whatever it's called, it's only like science and engineering and like cool,
that's what
smart things, and it's like, well, maybe that's just because that's what the majority of Chinese people do.
Yeah,
majority of them are smart.
Yeah. Well, I think the reason,
I'm not pro China by any means, but like,
no, for sure, and I hope we're not coming across like that. I mean, I'm not. I don't know how to say this without sounding stupid. I guess like, I don't care.
You don't care, yeah.
Like, if. I don't know. Maybe
maybe it's a topic for another day. But there's a delineation between the Chinese people and the CCP.
Yes, exactly that. Exactly that.
Very different.
Exactly that.
I like the Chinese people. Totally okay with the Chinese people.
I've never been to China. I'd like to go to China. I've seen pictures of China that just blow my mind.
Yeah.
Like, the United States is
also
one of the most beautiful places on the earth. There are a lot of beautiful places on the earth, and a lot of that, China's such a big country, just like the US, where it's like, you have like, they have the Gobi Desert, and then they have these lush rainforests, and then they have these high mountains and the coasts, and like, also just like the history of that place is insane. They've been so technologically advanced for so many thousands of years. Anyway, also they invented gunpowder, which like is like my main addiction in life.
It's true. Yeah, it's a good point.
Anyway, not to sound like a China fanboy,
but
speaking of, there's a
fanboy. What?
Speaking of other criminals,
there you go.
Actually, technically not a criminal.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Can't say he's a convicted felon yet.
He won't be. I don't think so.
Either.
Yeah.
Dr. Disrespect.
Dr. Disrespect, the famous streamer, YouTuber.
Yeah, he's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, I think.
At one point he was the biggest, and then he was dethroned by someone else. And
okay.
Now I think, who's the biggest now? I think is it Kai Cenat or Jinxie?
Yeah, the biggest Twitch guy.
I don't know. Anyway.
He's big. He's got a whole business. He's got tons of endorsement deals. I think he got big on Call of Duty. Yeah,
for sure he did.
Does he still play Call of Duty, or does he just play everything now?
I think he plays mostly shooters, but I think it... Yeah. Anyway, he was texting a minor.
Yeah, messaging a minor a few years ago.
In 2017, I believe it was.
And she was 17. That's all the information I've heard, I think.
I don't know. There's a lot of fuzziness about it.
He was messaging her over Twitch even, I think. Twitch DMs.
Yeah. And it was... apparently, like, I don't know, like, there's a bunch of different people coming out and saying stuff, and it's so hard to like figure out
what's the real information.
His statement that he put out was that it wasn't anything sexual.
Yeah,
like it like borderline on flirting or something like that. But like he was cleared of any wrongdoing, and then like Twitch paid out his full contract when they kicked him off the platform.
Yeah, okay.
And so it's like I just, it's very interesting.
it's been big in the
it's been huge
media and even the normal news.
Every single streamer is talking about it. Asmongold is talking about it a ton. I've seen so many clips from him.
Yeah.
It's been very interesting to see. There's like almost like a divide in support and non-support for him. It's like it's been very interesting to see. I didn't know.
It's like Dr. Disrespect's a pedophile. There's no evidence of that. I don't know. When you get so big in the limelight, that it just seems like people use anything to tear you down.
Yeah, it's interesting.
He had some of his endorsements cut, which I don't totally agree with because he hasn't been convicted of anything yet. But I guess a private company can decide what they want to do. But he's with Turtle Beach, gaming accessories,
and his production company
dropped him as well.
Yeah. It's his company that he founded, and I don't know how they kicked him out. He has to own it still, though.
Yeah, does he not have majority ownership?
I don't know how that works.
Yeah,
but
dropped him temporarily or something until he's out of the limelight again.
It's interesting how it's just interesting. It's interesting to see this happen, and it's like a lot of people that I've seen not supporting him and like coming out against him are people who I've also seen in the past, like Hassan Piker.
Yeah.
I've seen them make a case for pedophiles.
Right.
And like not just like texting a minor, but like legit pedophiles, right? It's like, no, they just need to be, whatever.
Consent or whatever.
Yeah. They know they shouldn't be put into a wood chipper. Like, they need to be rehabilitated. Or they don't need to be put on a list.
Right. And
then they come out and it's like this guy was just texting a teenage girl.
That's all we know right now.
And they claim there was nothing sexual.
This teenage girl hasn't come out and said anything.
No.
Like
the chats haven't been released.
No.
And I don't think they ever will be.
No, honestly.
And I just don't know, like, it feels, and also it was 2017. Like, that was a long time ago.
It's not quite the statute of limitations, so that's why they dug it up now.
Must have
10 years probably, if I had to guess.
I don't know. It just crazy.
It feels dumb, and like, again, another topic. Me as an average American outside looking in, I'm like, okay, with how like powerful and how much influence he had, most popular Twitch streamer, and this can happen to anyone. They can just dig up something random from your past.
Yeah, for sure.
Tear you down with no evidence. Like,
yeah,
it just feels really scummy. Like, come on.
And also, if it was like yesterday that he was doing it, it's like, okay, yeah, that's kind of weird.
That's a little weird, dude. Like,
yeah, like you're 30 something years old, you've got a wife and kids, but this was 2017. That's 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 7 years ago. Like, I don't, did he have a kid then? I don't even, like, was he even famous then?
Right? Yeah. Like, he was on Twitch, but.
Obviously, but like.
Did he have all the endorsements back then that he has now?
Yeah.
That are now dropped? Like, I don't know. If more info comes out and we're totally wrong, I'll totally accept, like, oh, look, and here's the lewd images he was sending. Yeah, okay. Totally wrong.
For sure.
Inappropriate. Get him out. But as it stands, we're innocent until proven guilty. I mean,
yeah,
everyone deserves that. So,
and also, like, you got to think that this is screwing up his family's relationship with him.
Oh yeah, it's
just kind of, it kind of feels like, if you're gonna like try to, like, why are you trying to ruin someone's life? Like, are you so vindictive against someone? Like, if you don't like someone and it's online, just ignore them.
Who cares? Yeah.
Just block account. You
don't even know the person. You'll never have to see them again. Like,
it's like, I'm standing up for the little guy. For what?
What?
You've given a bunch of guys who watch Dr. Disrespect, and he seemed to be like a decent guy. I wasn't a avid watcher of his. I don't even know if I'm following him on Twitch.
I've seen some clips here and there. Honestly, for the first probably 3 or 4 years I heard about him, I thought he was like a joke, like a fake. Like, I didn't know.
Yeah, I had no clue.
I was like, oh, it's just like I think I saw like an in-game collab, so I thought he was just an in-game character of some.
Oh, that's funny.
Game I played on Call of Duty or whatever. Oh, he's a real person. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I have, I have no attachment. I'm not pro Doctor Disrespect or anything, but it just seems scummy to do it.
It does.
To anybody.
It does. And like,
in a presidential election, I get it because that's they'll dig up anything for the other guy.
Yeah, that's.
But this is just some random guy on Twitch. Like, let him live his life.
Yeah, and like he's not producing anything bad for the world.
Yeah, it's content. Like,
yeah, it's not like bad. Like, it's not politically charged content. It's just entertainment.
Yeah,
right?
he's just entertainment.
Purely, he's not trying to push one political side or the other political side.
No,
just anyway.
Yeah,
there it is. Should we talk about 2 more criminals?
Let's do it. This is the criminal episode.
The criminal episode. Should we have the Law and Order like dun 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 dun?
Law and Order. Yeah, I can talk briefly about this because I could probably talk, I don't know, for a long time about this. But the first presidential debate was this week
of the 2024 election.
And again, I guess I haven't talked to you all. I've talked to a couple people already about this. It was a debate, and honestly, it was probably one of the better ones I've seen with these 2 main characters, right? Of either of any of the debates they've been in. All bias on the table. Obviously, I'm leaning Trump. I'm not like pro Trump, but like. In this election, it comes down.
You'd rather have poop than diarrhea?
In this election, it comes down to policy over personality, 100%, because we've already seen both of these guys before. We already know
for sure.
them. We know their policies. So regardless of their personalities, but that being said, I thought Trump's personality at this last debate was actually very good. A lot of complaints from his previous debates was that he was like loud and bombastic and rude. He came out and he performed, I think, well. He looked presidential. He was respectful. He respected the rules of the debate. They were given 2 minutes for each thing, and they were cutting off the mics to make sure. But he wasn't like speaking up over the mics. He was following the rules. He was standing and presenting. There wasn't personal jabs, personal attacks. There was one little thing about Hunter Biden that was kind of funny, but other than that, like it was like. He was kind of focused on delivering just policy and what he would do if elected. That seems like a good debate. Joe Biden, again, kind of the same thing, kind of said, oh, well, here's what I'll do if elected, but this is where my personal bias comes in, but he's already had 4 years to do all of this anyway, so why does he need another 4 years? The economy will get better. We'll start making the rich pay their fair share. Well, he's had 4 years to do that, so...
He's had 46 years to do that.
Yes, exactly. I'm not pro-Trump by any means, but I'm willing to be convinced by Biden's policies, and I have yet to see any convincing of anything. Yeah. So honestly, I liked the debate. I thought it went well, and I don't know what much better people could have expected from it.
Sure.
Everyone online feels like... I feel like they didn't even watch it. Like, we're talking about different debates. Everyone online has such a negative opinion of the debate. It's like, the country is ruined. Oh, I can't believe it's just 2 old guys yelling at each other. Oh, this is just the absolute worst. I can't believe he said this or he said that. And like, what more did you guys want? Like, it was fine. I thought it was actually a decent performance from both of them compared to their previous debates. Like,
I was wondering about this. I did not watch it because, well, 1, I wasn't going to watch it anyway. 2, it was my wife's birthday.
Yeah, no. Good reason.
But I was curious to know, with these new rules that they've kind of introduced, no live audience, no talking over one another, basically, no slamming your fist, do you think that was a good thing to do for them, or do you think it detracted from it being a debate?
See, yeah, in my opinion, I like the bombastic debates because that's a debate, like, by definition. It's not always the loudest guy wins, but like you kind of need to be loud and present your points, and you know, if the other guy's wrong, you got to tell him why he's wrong and tell the audience why he's wrong. Like, that's a debate. But I get that people don't like seeing their presidential candidates like that. So that's what I mean. That this one was respectful, and it seemed like people still had a negative opinion. Like,
interesting.
So what do you want?
Yeah, interesting. I will say I watched a comparison video of the first 8 minutes of the Mitt Romney Barack Obama debate.
Oh, 2012, yeah.
And this debate last night or 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
I think that the 2012 debate is a different country.
Really? Yeah.
It's so much more different.
Interesting.
They're not like, they come in, and I didn't think Obama was the most amazing president, right? I'm not a fan of Obama, but I have to say, elegant speaker,
totally, yeah,
likable personality. Honestly, like you can't like hear the guy talk and be like, I don't like that guy. It's
no,
like,
yeah, you can tell.
Man,
like,
he's charming.
He
you
can
know,
present. Yeah.
Mitt Romney also very similar in that. You know, he speaks well, and they have coherent plans, and they you know, debate the points in like actual, with facts and with like,
you can kind of tell they're like career politicians. Like, they've had to present things in the Senate before.
And so I was watching it, and I was like, and what was the most interesting part to me was that it's still at that point, it seems like the country still felt like it was one country, not two countries in one space.
Sure, I get what you mean.
Because, you know, Obama started it off because they had a coin toss, and he was the one who got to address the points first. And he goes, you know, he was saying, I think Mitt Romney's wrong, but he was doing it in a very respectful way. And he was like, I think this, and this. My opponent thinks the opposite of that. I think he's incorrect.
And let me tell you why. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Like, that's the convincing that
you know. And I was like, oh wow. And then, you know, Mitt Romney was listening and writing down some notes and stuff like that. And then he, you know, and it was the first 8 minutes, and so they, you know, introduced themselves and kind of broke the ice a little bit, right? Not introduced themselves, obviously, but like broke the ice where you know. This happened, I guess it was on Obama's 20th anniversary with Michelle Obama.
Okay.
And so Mitt Romney kind of throws in a joke. He's like, I'm really grateful that you could spend your anniversary with me. And and they were both laughing about it, right? It was like like a bro joke, you know?
Right.
And I was just like, man, I don't think we could do that right now.
Yeah.
Which is sad, in my opinion.
The closest thing we got was a joke about them comparing their golf swings, which was kind of funny, honestly. I don't know if you heard about that.
I heard about it. I didn't see it.
It was actually pretty good. The beginning of the debate was good. They did actually ask good questions about the economy and the border, which are told to be the two most important issues in this election.
I also heard they asked about abortion as well.
They did. And by the end, they got to like, all right, abortion's important. And then they got to like January 6th and criminal convictions or whatever. And then they did, how about your physical health? And the questions just got kind of dumb by the end.
Yeah.
And so the question incentivized them to brag about themselves anyway. And so again, people complained they were just bragging about golf for 10 minutes. That was the question. It was like, oh, so tell us about your physical health. And Donald Trump's like, well, you see, actually, I've won 2 golf tournaments. Not senior golf tournaments, all right? Regular golf tournaments.
That's funny.
Yeah, right?
That's really funny.
Joe Biden's like, oh, but I got my golf handicap down to a 6 during this last 4 years, my time in the White House. And Trump's like, I've seen your golf swing. You're maybe an 8, all right? Like, that was kind of funny, okay?
That's very funny.
But people, they were just talking about golf for 10 minutes. That was the question, though. Like, they were supposed to brag about themselves.
Yeah. That's very funny.
Yeah, and for me, it's like, I don't give a crap about golf, but I think that's funny that they're like 2 old guys just like, my golf swing's better than yours. So
that's really funny.
Like, I think that was a good joke. I don't think they were both laughing at each other about that one, like the Mitt Romney Obama thing, but at least for me, that kind of like
it was entertaining. At least
it was entertaining. Yeah.
I hear a lot of rumors about them hot swapping good old JB out for a different candidate.
I have heard that.
You think it's going to happen?
I don't know. I mean, I was maybe thinking that at the beginning of the debate because Joe Biden did not come out super strong, but then maybe they gave him something halfway through because he seemed to perform a little bit better. I was like, oh, okay, maybe he's fine.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they are both pretty old.
They're both ancient.
Yeah. They're both, this is really funny. I found this one out. They're both older than Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton looked old, like when he was in office, like pictures of him as president. And like, he's also aged pretty poorly, but both these guys are
I think they're older than Bush too, aren't they?
Oh, I don't know about that actually. Maybe.
It's being looked up.
It's a Google search away. Trump's 78, Biden's 81. You just need Bush age.
George W. Bush.
77. So they're both a little bit older than Bush, yeah.
Our two current frontrunners for the presidential election are both older than the past, well, because they include themselves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 presidents.
The presidents we had when we were young.
When we were born, Trevor.
Yeah.
We were born.
Yeah.
The presidents 28 years ago are currently younger
than our current.
Than our current candidates for president.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
But hey, he won 2 golf tournaments. I'm just saying, the man's got my vote.
Dude, what the heck?
Because of that. Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. And then, did you see RFK did his own debate?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was.
4.3 million people watching it on the live stream.
That's impressive, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was more than CNN's live stream, so.
Probably.
Because CNN.
Did you watch it on CNN or did you watch it on?
I watched it somebody else. Two other people actually had simulcast. But they, like, we were worried because CNN was starting to crack down a little bit beforehand. They're like, you have to watch on CNN broadcast. We're going to be shutting down YouTubers, basically, without using the word. We're going to be shutting down people who are using our CNN broadcast because this is our thing or whatever. It was all just bark and no bite, but
yeah,
they just
that'd be such a hard thing for them to do.
Yeah,
like,
dude, tons of people do commentary on debates. You can't say that that's not fair use. Like,
no,
yeah,
and there's so many ways to get around it too. Like,
yeah, I think because I pulled up one time out of curiosity towards the beginning, the CNN live stream only had maybe 1 million.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people were probably watching it like you did, and having someone else,
or cable TV.
Oh
yes.
Who pays for cable anymore? Probably a bunch of people.
My old apartment made you pay for cable.
My old apartment did as well.
So dumb.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah.
That's how I had to pay for my internet. It was, you had to pay for internet and cable. It's like, I'm not going to use the cable though.
No, yeah.
It's like, yeah, you don't have to have the box. You just have to pay for it still. It's like,
yeah, I tried genuinely asking them, like, oh no, like we're not going to use the cable. Like, can we just take that off? And they're like, no, you have to pay for cable. Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, ridiculous.
Sure, all right.
Now that we're done talking about politics,
video games,
the best stuff,
more fun.
Well, the second best stuff. Guns are the best stuff.
Right, the best. Guns. Where does that? Never mind.
God. Guns, games.
Excellent. Goals, and then gastronomy, because you're eating food during all of those.
Yeah.
So that's
Have you seen the show on? Sorry, total tangent. Have you seen the anime?
Is it food related?
Yeah.
Not a tangent.
Sure. Have you seen the show on Netflix, the anime of the Food Dungeon one?
Yeah, my wife loves that one actually.
Really?
I've seen a couple clips of her watching it, but
last Saturday? No, last Wednesday, I was for Juneteenth. I had work off, so I was doing stuff around the house, and I had lunch and was lying here, and I was like, looking for something to watch, and I turned that on, and I fell asleep to it, so I didn't watch a ton of it.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to see.
Shout out to my wife. She loves it. They're coming out with new episodes like every Thursday, I think, on their season 2 right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she loves it. It's basically, from what I've seen of it and what I know of it, it's basically Dungeons and Dragons, where every episode they go on a quest to like hunt a new monster and cook food from the monster.
Yeah, that's what it looks.
So,
yeah,
like,
it's interesting.
That's funny because that's exactly what you do at a D&D party. You're like, all right, we killed the dragon. All right, you cut up his tail. I'm gonna get some scales. Oh, I'd love some teeth here. Oh, what about the poison or you're harvesting the monster immediately.
Yeah,
like, just cut them up. So that's what the anime is. Delicious in Dungeon.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, funny.
I might have to actually sit down and actually watch it.
Yeah,
but yeah, the first episode was interesting. Anyway, It just totally caught me.
Yeah.
Anyway, video games.
Elden Ring had their big release this week.
Did you play it?
I haven't yet. I'm really weighing it though, because even my brother emailed me and he was like, "Did you play the new Elden Ring DLC yet?" I was like, "All right, I gotta tell him. I gotta let him know then how good it is." I haven't played it yet myself.
Have you purchased it?
No.
Okay.
See, I'm bouncing between a couple different like DLCs that I all want to buy.
Sure.
I haven't decided on like which one. I've got 3 because there's the new Destiny 2 expansion, there's the Cyberpunk expansion, and then this Elden Ring expansion. Which all 3 of those are basically like full games.
Just do all of them.
Yeah, just because the content they're all phenomenal, super well rated. So Elden Ring, I feel like I might maybe give another week or 2 for like bug fixes and stuff.
Sure.
Because I know some people are having problems with like frame rates during a boss fight, and that's rough. Yeah. But some people are complaining about the balance. I don't think that's a big issue really, but I think there's people over complaining about that personally. Get good. Since Dark Souls 1 has been the theme, just get good. If the game is too hard for you, get good. But
I'll be interested to see what your take is when you've actually played it, because I've seen that same thing where people are saying this game is it's way too difficult, even for a Dark Souls game. It's way too difficult.
Too difficult.
It's like I've played one Dark Souls game, not even all the way through. I've played one session of a Dark Souls game at a buddy's house, and it was rough.
They're hard games. Yeah.
It was rough. Yeah, I don't think I got past the first boss.
Yeah, The tutorial always has a boss. Yeah.
The tutorial was brutal. I think after like my 4th try, I finally beat the tutorial boss.
Which do you remember which one you played? Because then I know exactly. Oh, number 1. Yeah.
The big fat guy.
The big fat guy. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's hard.
Yeah,
he's very.
It was brutal.
Did you have the broken weapon, or did your friend at least tell you to like go get your real weapon?
No, I had the broken one.
Oh, okay.
I didn't, yeah.
So you were playing on hard mode then, even
I guess. It's with Colin.
Oh, with Colin, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, because that is the best troll, because that's literally like the 3rd enemy you see in the game.
Yeah.
Is a boss. Like the health bar shows up, you're like, what? And the music starts playing, and you have just like a broken hilt. You're like, what? That's a fat demon.
Yeah, and like I died to the first enemies that you have to fight too.
The little zombie dudes.
Well, like the first ones, like you kill the first one because it's teaching you the game, right?
Yeah.
And then the second one, it's like, all right, try it.
Fight.
And I died. And I was like, crap.
Oh man.
Because you're like naked.
Yeah.
With this
no armor and a broken weapon.
And then I the second time I was still figuring out the controls, and I had goofed on the second one pretty bad, right?
Yeah.
And so I go up and I just kill him and don't take like any damage the second time. I was like, okay, I got this. No worries. We're good. And normally you're thinking like the first like couple levels before a boss, you're like,
it's teaching you the game.
Yeah, it's like, and enemies are going to be, relatively easy. There might be a couple hard ones here and there, but you're not going to die that much, right? Unless you make like a error, like
mistakes, but then you learn from it.
Yeah. And the 3rd guy you see, and I'm thinking like, they're going to teach me how to fight bosses now. And it's going to be like those ones where it's like, you move this way,
it'll
pauses it and like highlights where you have to hit now.
Button.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, that'll work great. Like, that'll be fantastic.
No.
I'm like waiting. I'm like, waiting for it. And I just like, the first time I literally just stood there.
I don't even remember if they teach you how to dodge roll.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't. Yeah. And I'm thinking that that's what they're going to do. Yeah. So I stand there and he's like getting like ready to smack me. And I'm like, there's not a pause yet. There's not a pause. Smash. Half my health gone. And I'm like, they're just not going to teach me. And so I'm like trying to figure out. Colin was there, so he's like, just do this. I don't even remember what it was on the controller.
So funny.
Yeah.
That's Dark Souls. That's the trial by fire. And honestly, it's a really good formula for a game, because it makes you feel very accomplished when you figure things out, when you learn from the mistakes, when you finally beat things. Like the dopamine hits from Dark Souls games are phenomenal. That first boss is supposed to teach you that you run away from things you can't kill, because there's a secret door in the back of the room that you have to run through that he can't fit through because he's too fat.
Really?
Then you go around to the rest of the tutorial. You pick up armor, you pick up a real weapon, you fight some more skeleton dudes. You come back around to like the top of the building and you jump on his head, takes out half his health bar. Then you do the boss fight.
Didn't know that.
Yep.
Colin did not tell me that.
That is the secret to the Dark Souls 1 tutorial. Mm-hmm.
I was watching Asmongold talk about this DLC, and he was saying that the first class that he chose to do the DLC with, his build was apparently not good enough. It was very tanky, but glass cannony. Glass cannony, not tanky.
Yeah, okay.
And so he went back and did the whole thing with like all of the max tank items.
Just unga bunga, big sword.
Yep, like the stone tablet shield, like
I like that one.
That big old hammer, and just like armor that made him look like the Hulk. He was like the same size as some of the bosses.
Full strength.
And it was so funny because he wouldn't dodge.
Wow.
He just walked into everything. He's like, hit me, wham, takes out very little of his health bar, and he goes, okay, my turn. Whack.
Yeah.
It was very funny.
Yeah, I've heard that the first boss especially is really like frustrating some people because it's like you start the DLC and then it's like boss. Obviously.
I heard it was something like there's like 50 new bosses or something like that.
The map is at least like not half the size of the original one, but it's big. Yeah,
that's crazy.
And it's a new map. It's a new part of the open world.
Good on them. Yeah. I mean, that's really cool. Good on them.
They announced before. They said this is going to be the only DLC.
Yeah.
Like,
I heard. So Japanese company, right?
Yep.
I can't remember if it's Japanese or Korean. The guy who owns the company, or started or founded or whatever,
Miyazaki, I think is his name.
He was saying that he's still in search of the perfect game, and that Elden Ring comes close, and that the DLC makes it a little bit closer.
He's like, I'm still trying to make that 100 out of.
And I was like, I'm pretty sure everyone loves the Souls games.
Dude, you've perfected this formula. This is an amazing game.
Yeah,
everyone agrees.
And he's still. It's like, I'm interested to see when the next Dark Souls game comes out.
Yeah,
whatever they call it, and like, I'm just interested to see like. What is it going to be? Like, it's going to have to be just amazing.
How to get better than this? Because like this one, they even pulled in, because you could argue in the Dark Souls games, the story was a little weak. So this one, they pulled in George R.R. Martin to write their story.
Yeah.
And they still had all the same like gameplay mechanics that were so good from Dark Souls. And so it's like, how do you get better? I don't know.
Get freaking...
I think that's super cool to hear. Like,
no, for sure.
Game developer, like, kind of a humble brag of like, this game's good, but like,
I can do better.
I want to give you guys more.
Yeah.
Like, whereas Western game devs would be like, all right, how many DLCs can we make? Like, how much money are we making off this game?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This isn't the best game. Don't worry. Call of Duty 27 is coming out next year. That'll be better than this one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They'll sell more than this one.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Elden Ring DLC, Shadow of the Erd Tree, available now. Not sponsored, but...
I wish we were. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Any sponsorship, I'd take.
Would take?
Not any. There's a few I wouldn't.
There's a few.
Probably wouldn't take one from the CCP.
Yeah, right.
Although, actually, you know what? If the CCP wanted to sponsor us, I would 100% say yes, because that is hilarious.
It would be hilarious, actually. We show up next week with our actual new studio, our new set, and we've got just like... Dude, sickle everywhere. Like, I
would have the Chinese flag in the back, and I would be wearing like the regalia of like a Chinese party member. Like, dude, I'd have a picture of like Mao Zedong in the background, like
up on the wall.
How funny would that be? That would be the funniest thing on the planet, especially because like if they say like, you guys we just want to sponsor the podcast. You guys can keep talking about whatever you want. It's like, we're both very staunchly anti-communist.
So we would go all out for the parody.
That would be so funny.
Yeah.
That would be so funny.
And they'd be like, I like these two white boys. Like, we'd get more sponsorship.
Hey, CCP. Hey, CCP.
They're listening.
Hey, CCP.
Yeah, right.
Should I open up TikTok app just to
be really sure? Yeah.
If you want to sponsor us, I'm down.
We'll do it. That'll be fun.
I would love that so much, to be sponsored by a political party
from across the world. Even.
Yeah. It's like I would do it for like the Hungarian prime minister's like, hey, you want to be sponsored by my political party? It's like, sure.
Yeah. You got the election year coming up? I got you, fam. Like,
Argentina's.
Yeah.
Brazil's
the Peronistas,
Dude, I want to be sponsored by the Mozambican Renamo.
Yeah.
They're the left wing party. Left wing. They're more left wing party.
Sure.
They're both left wing. There's no right wing parties in Mozambique.
They only have 2 parties.
There's 3 technically,
okay.
but one of them doesn't count.
Gotcha.
They have like 2 seats in the
their Congress. Yeah.
Parliament. What are they? Are they? No, because they have a president. Yeah, it's not a parliament system. It's a congressional system.
Gotcha.
But yeah, there's a Frelimo and Renamo, and Frelimo is a center left.
Sure.
Center left authoritarian, and Renamo is far left authoritarian.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And currently still fighting each other.
Right. I mean, yeah, as you do.
With RPGs.
Oh, literally. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like when I was there, we had a guy who we met who we were talking with, and he disappeared for like 3 weeks, and we were like, "Where'd this guy go?" He comes back, legs blown off, bullets in his body.
Oh.
And he was on a bus from one province to another, and Renamo was like, "We don't like that bus," and they shot it with rockets.
Wow.
And he was blown up and had AK-47 rounds in his body.
That
he let me touch one in his neck.
Holy cow!
It was creepy.
Yeah.
He had a bullet in his neck.
What? It's pretty metal, though.
Yeah.
Like the political parties are actually fighting.
Yeah. Well, there was one, and like heating up. Like they've been fighting for like 30 years or something like that.
Jeez.
40 years now, I think.
So it's a stable country then.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, nice.
Well, the same area that I was in, we had this guy. We were walking down the road one time, and we'd gone to lunch. We were walking down the road, and all of a sudden, we just look, and there's 3 tanks just driving by.
Yeah.
We're like, "What?" And we like asked someone. They're like, "Oh yeah, they're just going into the jungle real quick."
Oh, just go into the jungle?
It's like, for what reason are there 3 tanks just with like full just
military
entourage behind them and everything like that? It was like there was troops and they were all kitted to the nines.
Jeez.
At least as much kitted to the nines as a third world country can get.
It can be, yeah.
And they're all Russian tanks, old Russian tanks.
That's funny.
And we were just like, what the heck? Yeah, so that's fun.
That is.
Anyway,
Argentina's not allowed to have loaded magazines in their guns.
The police officers aren't in Mozambique apparently either.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's hilarious. They all carry AKs.
Yeah.
The police all carry AKs, and I don't know if I saw a single loaded magazine.
No, yeah, they just look intimidating, but once you find that out, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, wild.
Anyway, I don't know how we got on that tangent. That was a tangent.
That one was definitely a tangent.
Yeah,
for sure.
Oh, political party. That's
political
why.
Parties, yes.
Yeah.
At literal war with each other. No, so back to video games. Elden Ring, big plus. Probably play it eventually. Give you a good review on it. But the Steam summer sale just released. Big sale every year. Right, it's summertime.
The SSS.
Yes. But
not to be confused with the SS.
So basically, any game you want is on sale, unless it just came out like the Elden Ring DLC.
Sure.
They also released a pretty fun statistic, Steam or Valve, right? It's the dollar amount of unplayed games in Steam libraries.
Oh, interesting.
Total, yeah.
Interesting.
If you had to guess, and this is the number they told us, how many, if you want to go with a denomination first of like trillion, billion, million, 100,000, how much do you think?
So it's overall as an aggregate.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was per the average per user.
Not per person. It's the total a dollar amount of unplayed games.
Interesting.
In libraries.
It's interesting because
people buy a game on sale and then never play it.
For me, every game that I buy, I put hours into.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's a game in my Steam library that I haven't played.
Yeah,
there might be.
I definitely have some. I know I do.
Really?
Yeah. Well, and then even because I don't know if this shouldn't count twice because it's probably just money spent. But I even have shared libraries like from my brothers.
Oh.
So I definitely haven't played everything in their libraries either.
It's got to be in the billions. Am I in
good track? Yep.
in the billions?
Yep.
Okay. Now, are you doing single digit, tens, or hundreds? Let's see. If everyone in the U.S. had $1, that'd be 300 million. So I'm guessing that, with a $60 game in the world, I'm guessing $17 billion.
Holy cow. They said 19 billion.
Dude, that was pretty good guess.
That was pretty good.
That was a pretty great guess.
I'm glad this was unscripted because I wanted to see like how close you would guess. That was very impressive, sir.
Yo, that's like a great guess for like just doing the back of the napkin math right there in my head. Like that was fantastic. I'm pretty proud of that guess.
Pretty phenomenal. $19 billion.
That's also ridiculous.
Also insane. Like that is more than the GDP of probably the average country, like most countries. Like
I don't even know.
$19 billion of unplayed games just sitting in Steam libraries.
That's crazy.
And like, not all of that goes to Valve, right? But like, so it's a pretty good statistic for them. Like, oh, people are buying games on our platform and not even playing them. Like,
that's crazy. You know what though? If you did that, this is interesting. Do they take into account how many dollars were spent at the time of purchase?
I believe so, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, like, for example,
if it's on sale, or
for example, on Epic, I have a ton of games on my Epic library.
Oh, sure.
That I haven't touched ever.
Yeah.
Because they give the free game away.
Yeah, just a free game.
And so I was curious if there was a similar situation where they're counting the face value of the game and not like the discounted amount that they.
Oh no, yeah, I think they're counting like
dollars spent.
Sales. Yeah, because again, if I have a shared library, it's on my thing,
sure,
but it's not mine. I don't spend money on it.
Can you just play it if it's on a shared library?
Yeah, but only one person can use the library at a time.
Gotcha.
So, like for multiplayer games, you still have to buy your own copy.
Sure. But for single player games, it's like
totally. Yeah. It's just like I think I borrowed. Well, my wife's borrowing Cyberpunk from my library. She was also borrowing Baldur's Gate from my little brother's library.
So you just sign into their account and then play.
Yeah. So it's even you sign into their account on your computer.
Yeah.
And then you just authorize the computer. And then you can log out of their account, and it'll show up in your library. It's good. It's like, oh, this is an improved computer. Here's all their games.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's up to like 5 people or something. So
interesting.
Family sharing is the idea. But
yeah, that's I like that system.
It's a good system.
It's not bad.
And it's multiplayer games. You still have to buy both. That makes sense. But
yeah, no, for sure.
Only one library at a time, but it's fine.
I think that's a great system.
Yeah.
Yeah. $19 billion is a lot of money.
It's very.
I think Valve takes 30% of sales, right? And so that's
almost 6 billion, 5.5.
No, it's 6 1/3.
6 1/3.
If it's 30%.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be 6 because 18 divided by 3 is 6.
Sure.
So that's 33%. So if it's 30%, it's right around 6 if it's 19 million. Yeah. Yeah.
6 billion.
$6 billion that Valve just got for free. Wow. I would be interested. Do they break it down any further than that? Like,
no, that's all they say.
Because I'd be interested to know like AAA games versus indie games,
or like US versus global,
and average price per game as well.
Yeah.
Because average price per game would be interesting because if it's mostly AAA game, I want to know if it's mostly AAA games or mostly indie games that were $5 versus $70, right?
So you buy a $70 game,
you're going to play it for at least an hour, you know?
Because if you play it for less than 2 hours, Steam gives you a full refund.
True. True.
That's why most AAA games try to make their tutorials last more than 2 hours. That's a theory, conspiracy theory of mine, but
no, that's not even that.
Totally.
That's 100% the reason.
Yes, yeah, because they don't want refunds. Yeah,
that's 100% the reason. No, yeah, obviously.
Or as you mentioned previously, the breakdown per person would be kind of cool to see. Like on average, how much unspent money do you have? If they could just tell you that statistic for your account, that'd be fun. If you could look that up. Like, oh man, I have $400 I haven't spent or haven't used.
You know how Spotify does that, like your most like played. I would love like a Steam Wrapped every year where it's like you spent X amount of dollars on games. zero X amount has been unused or has been not been played yet.
How many hours?
This is how many hours. This was your top game. Like
indie to AAA. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need the stats, Steam.
I love the stats.
Where you at?
The stats. Dude, that'd be actually a great, like, I'm sure there's a plugin for that.
Hopefully, right? Like,
I'm sure
we can't be the first ones thinking of that. Like,
and if not, we should, I don't know how to program. I feel like that can't be like that hard to scrape that data.
But I like statistics. So
Steam has all that data in its, like, I'm pretty, like, it tells you how many hours you've played. And so if you could just like have something that goes in and just scrapes that information from Steam and just says like, this is how many hours you played this game this year.
Yeah. Every game has Steam tags as well defined. So you might not be able to do straight indie to AAA, although indie is a tag. But you could do like shooter, RPG.
Well, you could cross-reference it with the price per game, you know,
definitely.
and you know, you can say anything under $30 indie, anything over $30 AAA.
Right.
Not a hard and fast rule, but like close enough.
Yeah.
Close enough, you know.
Again, because there's a couple that like blur the line, like Elden Ring, FromSoft, like a small Japanese company.
I'd consider them a AAA studio, though.
Yeah. Well, they're certainly putting out AAA quality, at least.
Well, yeah, and that's what
from 10 years ago. AAA quality is good games.
Yeah.
These days, AAA quality means.
Well, yeah, and I feel like that's the. I don't know. For me, a AAA game, because AAA doesn't come from just like the industry itself. It's a AAA in investments is like the best investment type.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
They have a little bit higher than that now because people are like
quadruple A's.
I think they have like super AAA or something like that.
Super AAA. It's just capital A.
It's something like that.
Bigger.
Or maybe it's like AAA plus. It's something dumb.
Yeah, some dumb.
But like investments are graded like that. You have like AAA, AA, single A, triple B, double B, single B.
Oh wow, okay. Very interesting. Yeah, we don't have more in the video game industry.
Yeah,
I mean, we really should.
You have AAA and indie. Those are like the two.
Of like, are you a big company or a small company?
Well, and I think originally it's talking about the quality of the game.
Yeah.
And the game studios that produce those games.
Literally, 15, 20 years ago, indie was like, this is one guy in a garage.
Yeah. And now indie can mean 15, 20, 30 employees.
Yeah.
And producing Helldivers 2.
Mm-hmm. It's like, we are a small company.
Helldivers 2, I would consider a AAA game.
In terms of quality.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. Right. There should be a different rate. We should patent a new rating system and propagate it throughout the world.
Yeah, honestly.
The 5G podcast rating system.
We need like AA, single A, indie. I feel like if we're just gonna stick with the A's.
Nah, we gotta have studio type.
Okay.
And in that studio, we have to have studio ratings and game ratings.
Okay.
And studio ratings are an aggregate of the games that they've produced.
Yeah.
And so, or an average, I guess, of the games that they've produced. Or you could do an aggregate as well. It's like you have this many AAA games. You have this many. You get 1 point per level.
Yeah.
And if you have this many points, it's just like a ranking system.
Like a ranking system.
That'd be kind of.
And that would be better for the award shows and everything. It'd be like, yes, best game in this category. You're on a level playing field with everyone else.
Yep.
So you don't have to compete with.
Yep.
Game
5 levels maybe.
Yeah.
And it also takes into account your yearly budget.
Because they have currently Game Awards have like, oh yes, best indie game of the year goes to, but like, what does that mean anymore?
Yeah.
Unless that still means, it's one game developer, but I doubt it.
Or like a small team of like 5.
Where's the cutoff? It needs to be more clear.
You and I should develop this rating system, and then we should like, whenever we decide to build a website, we should have like a rating system for every company and every game.
Oh yeah. It'd
be kind of fun.
It would be
actually a lot of work.
It'd be a lot of work.
But also kind of like, it'd be fun.
But like, people get paid to do that. People would get paid to do that with less, or rather with more boring statistics, with more boring things.
Yeah.
So like,
that'd be actually very interesting to pursue.
That's at least fun statistics. It's maybe slightly subjective, but a lot of it's statistics.
Yeah. I mean, dollars spent per year.
Yeah.
You can probably find that for every company.
Dollars spent per year, number of employees.
And then for game ratings, you could also do like dollars spent to produce the game versus quality of the game.
Yeah.
And then you get
sales.
You get its value rating.
Yeah.
And then you can divide. You can also do it based off of price per to buy the game retail. Interesting.
Yeah. I had an argument with a friend once upon a time about the best Zelda game, and we couldn't decide subjectively, so we had to go to the sales. And I was like, I told you, this one is the best Zelda game. This one sold the most. And he was like, but this one's still better. All right. That's why subjective arguments don't work.
Yeah.
But data, cold hard facts.
It'd be interesting. Anyway.
What is Magic the Gathering? I think we'll finish up, encapsulate for our final topics. This was a big news announcement this week. Big surprise to everybody. There is a new Magic the Gathering set coming out this year that we just found out about.
Yeah, with normally they're like leaked like 4 years in advance. Not actually 4 years, but like
at least
a year.
Yeah. So we have Assassin's Creed just finished. Give you the rundown. Bloomburrow, the furry animal set, is coming out next.
In August?
August, I believe, is their summer release, Q3. Q4 is Duskmourn, which is like their gothic horror set.
I haven't heard about that one at all.
I think it's November release? Something like that. Maybe December. So those are the next two standard sets. I think we're done with modern sets. We're done with commander sets for the year. But they're surprising us with another set that's standard legal. They're calling it Foundations, Magic the Gathering Foundations, which is, for old-time Magic the Gathering players, it's just a core set. Basically a core set that they have gotten rid of and reintroduced with different names a few times, and now, surprise, there's a new core set. Because the idea of the core sets in the standard rotation was every year, that's like M13, M14, M15, was just like, here's some solid reprints that we want in the standard format, just so you can build archetypes around these, guaranteed. So it was things like, there's some stuff coming back actually, Llanowar Elves. We want a 1-mana dork in green. We want green to always have access to that. Also in this Foundation set, they're bringing back Wrath of God. They want white to have a 4-mana destroy all creatures, because we want white to always have a control archetype available to them. So it's kind of a big surprise. Like, whoa, you're printing a set that's coming out this year and we just heard about it, but it's all reprints, so it's not like they're paying new artists or anything. Or they do have to print them still, but they probably have all the old stamps anyway, like to actually make them, the old presses. But it's just kind of funny. They're like, oh, surprise, it's a new set, but we're like, this is just core sets. Like, you've already done this before.
That's funny.
But, all right, it's good, I guess. But I don't know. It's just weird because their last reasoning for doing it was like, well, we want standard to have like a longer rotation and but a diverse metagame. But people have been complaining since they got rid of core sets, like, standard kind of sucks to buy into because it's rotating, but the standard cards are getting so expensive that it's like, you're spending $300 on a standard deck, which it did not used to be the case. But in order to compete, you have to. 300 used to be a price point for modern, but modern doesn't rotate, so you can spend $300 once and have that deck forever and be competitive
until they print stupid new powerful Eldrazi.
Right, and then that's since Modern Horizons was introduced. They're like, this is basically rotation because your old decks don't compete anymore.
Yeah,
standard rotates. It's lower power level, but it rotates every 2 years. But they since changed it to 3, and the cards are just so expensive. $50 used to be a good price point entry for standard, and then you can play for 2 years with that deck, basically.
Yeah.
New cards would come out every 4 months, and maybe you want to upgrade 1 or 2 pieces. But
usually that's like $1 or $2.
Yeah.
Right? Per card.
Yeah.
If that.
And so at least like way back when they had the core set once a year, you knew that like, okay, if anything, I can play with like basically just core set cards, and I'm going to have mono green ramp. And this deck is cheap because it's been reprinted into Oblivion, and it'll just like last me two years until the next like big core set.
Yeah.
So they're doing that again. And this Magic Foundations, this first core set is going to be around until 2029. They're trying to reinvigorate the standard format and maybe bring the price point down for entry.
See what happens. be a good time to short cards if you
Yeah.
could. I still think we should try to figure out a trading market for
There's
it.
whole like debate and speculation on it, but it's all going to be reprints. So in theory,
So price of cards are going to come down.
yeah, in theory, they're not going to make reprint anything too expensive, but they still need to sell mythics. They still got to put mythics in the pack. So one mythic they spoiled was Omniscience. I don't remember how expensive that one is, but it's a 10 mana blue enchantment where you can just cast spells for free.
Oh.
Yeah. In Commander,
So does that go in every Simic deck ever?
In Commander, Omniscience is basically you win the game.
Yeah.
Because so long as you keep drawing cards, you can cast your whole deck.
And guess what? Simic draws cards and has big stumpy creatures.
Yeah. So 10 mana enchantment, you can play anything for free.
And also green ramp, you can have 10 mana on turn 4.
Right? Yeah, if you try hard enough, 4. You got to make sure 3 blue pips though. It's balanced.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think I saw the Llanowar Elves, the Wrath of God, and Omniscience were the like ideas that they were releasing. Like, these are new core set decks in Standard. Please play Standard. Look, Elves, Elf ramp. It's back.
I'm seriously considering making an elf deck.
In Commander or
Commander.
Yeah, okay.
Commander, just
elves.
Just 100%. Like every single creature is an elf.
That's funny. There's something fun about just like tribal decks. Like,
unfortunately, I don't think I can do that one commander that we talked about the other day, where you can just like for 5 mana play any creature off the top of your library or in your hand, because most of the creatures you would want to do that with aren't elves.
Yeah.
Right? Which is rough.
It is unfortunate.
But anyway, sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's fine. So that's basically the wrap up the Magic Foundations. Look forward to the next 5 years of a core set.
Yeah.
So they probably make another one in 5 years.
It's interesting.
They're going to see how popular this one will be.
So it's just for Standard, though, or it's meant to be for Standard?
Meant to be for Standard, but it's going to have relevant reprints in probably Pioneer and Commander. I doubt there's going to be relevant reprints to Modern, but we just had Modern Horizons. So.
Yeah, I don't... Yeah.
But maybe. Wrath of God hasn't seen play in Modern in years, so a 4 mana board wipe, too slow.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. In Commander, even with 4 players, you want asymmetrical board wipes. You don't want to destroy all creatures, and even then, maybe it's not the creatures that are the problem. So,
yeah, I always feel like creatures are not the problem in Commander most of the time.
Usually not.
It's usually enchantments or artifacts.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you can deal with a creature relatively easily. Death touch is prevalent, stuff like that.
Single target removal, pretty good. Combat, as you said, with the death touch, just kill it with damage.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe I'll stop putting
so much
creature removal in my decks. I feel like that's actually probably a good call. Probably won't change any of my big green stompy decks.
No, because it's perfect. Why would you? And then, in addition to the Foundations announcement, they revealed some spoilers from Bloomburrow, the next set, and then also Duskmourn, the next set. Which Bloomburrow seemed weird. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. It's
a bunch of furries.
It's the
Jace the Otter.
Yeah, exactly. It's a plane where there's no humans, and so when our planeswalkers go there, they turn into animals. That's why Jace is now an otter. It makes perfect sense, Steven. Don't think about it. There's no humans on the set.
Brainstorm.
Screw the human tribal decks. Now it's all about otters and foxes and
bears. Oh my!
Rabbits, mouse.
Are we getting bears? Please tell me they have bears. They have to have bears.
There
has to be a bear.
So far, again, there's birds, otters, rabbits, mouse, frogs. I'm excited for the frogs, personally.
Frogs are kind of cool in Magic.
Dude, I mean, I wasn't planning on putting this guy on screen, but maybe, because he looks pretty sick. Look at the frog druid. He sucks, but like, look at that art.
Sunshower Druid, 1 mana, 0/2.
He's just praising the sun, just like...
He'd be good for Pauper.
Yeah, probably, actually.
When he enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature, and you gain 1 life.
It's fine.
Pretty good for Pauper.
Life gain and 1/1 counter synergy. Yeah. The frog druid. But I wanted to talk more about Duskmourn. Because I thought it was a little more interesting, slightly less furry. When they announced this, I thought this was going to be like almost like Innistrad, which had like vampires and zombies.
Yeah.
Kind of dark horror. Because that's kind of how they announced it. I feel like they just released some concept art. Like, yeah, okay, it's kind of gothic horror.
What are you doing, dog?
He's waking up from the nap. Then I saw a couple cards on there, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about Duskborn now because,
like in a good way or a bad way?
In a bad way, I think, leaning bad. So, like, regardless of this card, this is cursed recording. You can look at the art.
It's computers.
They're CRTs. They're televisions, like from the 80s.
Yeah, like tube TVs.
Uh-huh.
Why was this not in like the Fallout set?
Universes Beyond.
Yeah.
That's real life in an official Magic the Gathering plane. They're just straight CRTs.
Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a time counter on cursed recording. Then if there are 7 or more time counters on it, remove those counters and it deals 20 damage to you.
The second half of the card is the good part.
Whenever you next cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy.
You get to copy spells until you cast 7
times,
spells,
and then you're screwed.
And then you take 20 damage.
Yeah, how do you have to be able to sacrifice your own artifact though?
Yeah, or remove the counters.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like some of the stuff looks kind of cool. Like they got this cool demon guy, which I mean that art looks sick. Like that looks scary.
That looks sick. Yeah.
I'd love to have that.
6 black pips. Wow.
Yeah.
Whenever he enters the battlefield, or when Doomsday Excruciator enters, if it was cast, enters, because enters the battlefield isn't a thing anymore.
Enters is new. Yep.
I forgot that. That's so dumb. If it was cast, each player exiles all but the bottom 6 cards of their library face down.
Yes, I love it. It's a speed run.
At the beginning of your keep draw card.
Yeah, but then you draw extra cards, which kind of blows. So you want to cast them and then get rid of them, so then everybody only has 6 cards.
Yikes.
So this is why, I mean, I don't know how I feel because the real world technology is weird.
Yeah.
In a
demon set.
Yeah, in my fantasy horror set. The demons look cool. And then, I mean, again, they just have a literal chainsaw is the name of a card, which, like, save that for the Doom crossover. I mean...
Yeah, that's weird.
It's just normal, like, Earth technology on some of these cards.
What plane is this in?
It's a new one. I think Duskmorn is the name of the plane.
Oh.
Again, I get that they wanted to make it different from Innistrad that already had vampires, zombies, and demons, but it just looks like they're going to Earth in the 80s, like a Stranger Things or something.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's all I've seen so far. That's why I said I don't know, but leaning towards negative.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm interested to see what happens with this. We need to take a look at all the Assassin's Creed cards that are coming out.
Probably, yeah.
Because there's some, I saw somewhere, I'm like, geez, man. For some reason, I feel like green has just been getting a bunch of love lately.
Yeah.
Which, like, I'm all for, because it's my favorite color.
I think they almost had to, because it's like the Assassins in Magic the Gathering aren't green.
Yeah.
At all, so they had to, like, really sell green in those cards or something. Because it's only 100 cards,
It's not a big set.
The funny thing about that one, though, I just heard this week, it's on some of the right-wing Magic subreddits or whatever, but you know, I've showed you one time the card Crusade is banned in Magic, but then in the Assassin's Creed set they release a card called Templar Knight. It's basically the same thing.
Does it do the same thing?
No, I mean, like Templar Knights were in the Crusades.
True.
Literally, because Assassin's Creed is a historical set. Like, I thought that was kind of funny, but the card Templar Knight is actually really sick. That's why they were talking about it, discussing it, because it's like a 2-mana 3/1 with Vigilance.
2 mana 3/1 with Vigilance. Okay, yeah.
But then your deck can have any number of Templar Knights in it.
Oh, I did see this card. I did see this.
Yes.
That's right.
And I forget the last effect. It's you got to have 5 of them, I want to say. Yeah, so it's 3/1 with Vigilance, but then if you pay white and tap 5 attacking creatures named Templar Knight, you search your library for a legendary artifact and put it on the board. any legendary. So it's the Templar Knights found what they were looking for in the Crusades. The
white, right?
just white. Yep,
Yeah.
one and a white.
I feel like I want to make
That's cool.
a white black deck with the a bunch of knights and a bunch of what the wraith kings from the Lord of the Rings set, where you can have 9 of them in the
the ring wraiths.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, yep.
Or rats. That'd be very funny.
And you call your deck the Holy Crusades or something.
Yeah.
The quest, the search for the Holy Grail.
That'd be funny.
Yeah. So obviously, yeah, anytime they print a cool card that says you can have as many of these in your deck as you want, Commander players are like,
what does the mana cost? 2 mana for
2 mana. 2 mana, 3/1.
Yeah. White has a problem with ramp though.
Yes, and you need at least 5 of these guys attacking in order to go get the artifact, which is the big payoff.
Yeah, so a mono white artifact deck with only those creatures.
Only Templar
Knights.
And there's a decent amount of good legendary artifacts that would fit with that. You can just like pump all your guys with some of the buff ones.
Yeah.
The Eldrazi monuments and stuff like that. There's plenty.
Yeah, because you get around the mana cost for those. That's nice.
Yeah, you just go put the giant legendary artifacts. There's a lot of good equipment there if you wanted to buff up your commander, who probably fits the theme somehow.
Oh yeah, you have to come up with a commander.
Good legend.
Probably some sort of knight that it has some sort of lord effect for other knights.
I would maybe not in mono white, but
you could splash something else.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this guy's mono white. I think he was the Walking Dead secret lair, but they made an in-universe version. Because he's a 3/4 human soldier. He's Greymond, Avacyn Stalwart, but I know he was Rick from Walking Dead.
Sure.
You get to choose 2 keywords from among First Strike, Vigilance, or Lifelink, and then all your humans have those too. So if your Templar Knights already have Vigilance, you can give them First Strike and Lifelink.
That'd be great.
And then as long as you have 4 humans, all of your humans get +2/+2. So then you have 5 3s with First Strike, Vigilance, Lifelink.
For 2 mana pop.
2 mana, yep, mono white.
Seems pretty okay to me.
It's a little like one-dimensional, but it would be creative in the legendary artifact payoffs.
Yeah.
Of like, yeah, what legendary artifacts do you go get based on the board state?
Yeah, and I would probably, other than like mana rocks and maybe a couple other artifacts here and there, you'd have to think about it.
Some of the white ramp.
Yeah, but legendary artifacts are like, there's a lot of them there. You're like, this, like, there's some that are like game winning.
Yeah, totally.
For sure.
You could go on theme with the Templar Knights, the Holy Crusade of like, yes, we're only playing like, I don't know, cards that fit in the theme, like land tax or stuff like that.
Yeah.
The Holy Grail.
Put what's the one you hate? The tax one.
Yeah. Smothering Tithes.
It's
like, yes, well, you see, we need this tithes for the Crusade.
Yep, exactly. I'll just rename it Richard the Lionheart or King. What's
It's King.
No, Prince George in Robin Hood. What's his name?
Yeah, isn't that
Prince George?
King George, Prince George.
Because his brother is the Lionheart, Richard the Lionheart, and he's ruling the country while Richard the Lionheart is away fighting
the war. Yeah,
I think it was King Charles. Anyway.
Yeah,
don't need to know that.
It could be on theme.
I might look into that.
Mono white.
I do need a mono white deck.
Yeah, at some point. 32 deck challenge.
That's right. Trying to get there eventually. I'm 3 in or something.
Almost there.
Yeah.
There's our Magic the Gathering news for the week.
There it is.
Big news.
And do you have a card for this week?
Oh,
you want to use that one for your card?
the Templar Knight.
Use the Rick Grimes one as your card.
The Rick Grimes, that's true.
I can see. Let me see if I have a screenshot in here from this week that I can share real quick.
Rick Steadfast Leader is his name. This was the first secret layer, first Universes Beyond.
Really?
Back in 2019. This was actually when it all changed, when it all went downhill. People were complaining back then, like, What's this Universes Beyond crossover? This is just some random zombie show. What does this do with my Magic the Gathering? And now we have Vocaloids. So
I'm okay with the Secret Layers and Universes Beyond stuff.
So long as they give us in-universe versions, totally okay.
Of the Secret Layers.
That was the problem. The Walking Dead one, we didn't have in-universe versions for a long time.
Oh, that's rough.
So, and Rick, Steadfast Leader, was good in Legacy. So you're playing this like 25-year-old Magic format, and you're like, I summon Rick, Steadfast Leader, and you're like,
what?
All right, that's weird.
Yeah, that's strange.
But yeah, his abilities, like I said, he's 4-mana, 3/4. Buffs all your humans with keywords and +2/+2.
He mono white?
Mono white. Rick.
I might throw that deck together today.
It'd be pretty cool.
We'll see. I'm thinking I might throw that deck, but also the elf deck. I'm just on
the
tapped out.
Yeah, just build it digitally.
Yeah, just for funsies.
Mono white humans with the Templar Knights.
Be fun.
Oh,
yeah. I'll have to share the link with you guys.
Oh, absolutely. I want to
see the cards if I do it.
27 Templar Knights. Gotta pump those numbers up.
Honestly, like they probably do like roughly probably 25 of them.
Yeah, I mean, creature-based deck should have 30 plus creatures.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure there's other creatures that you would want to put in there, like human advisors that give knights something,
they give buffs. And
some, there has
some
to be
of the ramp.
Yeah, but like for like attacking creatures, not utility creatures, 100% Templar Knights.
Yeah, right. 2-mana 5/3s with Vigilance, First Strike, and Life. Like, yeah, can't beat that.
And then legendary equipments to give your commander hexproof and shroud, and
you send the army to one guy, you send the Voltron to another guy. I think it works.
Very extremely one-dimensional in terms of creatures, but with the artifacts, the legendary artifacts,
you never know.
It could be pretty cool.
Yeah.
White doesn't have any sack outlets, so that's kind of rough.
Yeah, you'd have to go. Yeah, strictly to artifacts, but I don't know.
I'm sure there's some life gain stuff though in there where it's like when you play a creature, gain a life.
There's a lot of mono white life gain decks in general. So.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some artifacts that would do that though for me. Anyway, might have to look at that.
Yeah.
Now I'm curious what legendary artifacts there are that would be useful.
He's already brewing. That's how it works.
Already am.
That's how the game works.
Always. It's either magic decks or guns at this point.
I'm always crafting something.
Trevor's got me addicted to Magic the Gathering.
Those are the best things. Guns, video games, Magic the Gathering.
That's the 6th G is gathering.
Gathering.
It's God, Guns, Games, Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
There it is.
Sounds good. Right on. Thank you for watching this week's episode of the 5G Podcast.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see more.
And we'll see you next time.
Thanks.